Con ustedes, el presidente del Consejo Municipal de la Ciudad de Nueva York, Corey Johnson.
Hi everyone, good evening. Buenas noches. It is so great to have you all here tonight. Thanks for trekking out on a rainy fall night to be here at City Hall. This is the People's House, so we are really grateful that you all are here. You're welcome here. It is great to see so many people here to celebrate Hispanic heritage and all of the contributions that people from Spanish-speaking areas have made over the years to the greatest city in the world, our city. And New York City would not be the great city that it is today without all of the folks, all of you, who you and your parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents have really made this city what it is. So we are so honored to celebrate this important month, whether it is Colombians in Jackson Heights, Queens, or Mexicans in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, or Dominicans in Washington Heights and Manhattan. Each borough is enriched and has been enriched by Hispanic culture. You introduced us to tamales and tango, to soccer and sangria. You gave us Rita Moreno, Hector Figueroa, Mariano Rivera, Celia Cruz, and Sylvia Rivera. And of course, one of my favorites, J-Lo. So we should celebrate. There is a lot to celebrate. And it is important for us, I think, to not forget the struggles that new immigrants have had in coming to our country and to our city, whether it is new immigrants from Mexico or Central America or the Caribbean, and what they're coping with, integrating into our city. And we're told this year the council is committed to $30 million to immigration services in the budget. That includes $4 million to support unaccompanied minors. Those are young people that made it to New York City or got here through a lot of trauma, and making sure they get the support they need from health professionals and community-based organizations. And this work is not done by me as speaker. It is done by a team of council members who care about these issues. And some of them are here tonight. I want to particularly recognize the co-chairs of our Black, Latino, and Asian Caucus, the BLAC, from Queens. One of the co-chairs, Councilmember Diddy Miller, is here. Welcome Manhattan, my friend and brother, Councilmember Adonis Rodriguez, is here as well. I'm also grateful that we're joined by Majority Leader Lori Cumbo. On this day that we're in, tomorrow we're going to do something very big here in New York City. We're going to finally vote to close Rikers Island. If you didn't have a chance, if you're home late at night, you're flipping through the channels, and you make it to the council channel, you should watch both the hearing that was chaired about a month ago and the hearing that was chaired today by one of the freshman members of the City Council, who I'm so incredibly proud of her leadership, her handling this issue with a level of compassion and care. I really want to recognize someone who's here tonight, Councilmember Adrienne Adams, for her incredible leadership. So we are the greatest city in the world because of our diversity, because of our people. That is why we're the greatest city in the world. And all of us are immigrants in one way or another, unless you are Native American. All of us are immigrants in one way or another. So we should all remember the contributions that immigrants have made to build our city and to strengthen our city. And let's today focus on how far we've come, but how far we have to do it. And I always like to end with this, because, you know, like you, I love New York City. We're the greatest city in the world. New York City is the greatest city in the world. New York City. J-Lo. We are the city that is the home of the lemon ice king of Corona. We are the city that in less than 18 months built the Empire State Building. We are the city that not that far from here, standing in New York Harbor, the Statue of Liberty has stood for generations, holding a torch which has been a beacon to immigrants and asylum seekers and refugees, because immigrants are welcome here in New York City. We are a city that 36% are more than a third of the people who live in our city right now, 36% of New Yorkers, were not born in the United States of America, but came here with dreams and aspirations for themselves and for their families. We are the city that 50 years ago, this year, some brave activists rose up on Christopher Street in front of the Stonewall Inn and lit a match for worldwide equality. We're the greatest city in the world. And the Latino community, the Hispanic community, is an indelible part of our city and making it the city that it is today. And we must do everything we can to honor those individuals. And before I call up my amazing honoree and tell you a little bit about her, I want to just recognize one more person who I see here tonight. You know, part of when we talk about the people of New York City and those of us who serve in government, it's always important for us to know that the almost 400,000 people who work for the city of New York are really the women and men who make the city move. And we have a real giant in the labor movement who is here tonight, someone who has dedicated his life to working women and men in New York City, someone who I just worked with and the council worked with to raise the pay and get a fair contract for early childhood workers and educators, someone who represents basically workers that work in every part of city government with dozens of local unions. And I want to recognize, I know he's going to be recognized tonight, but I want to personally recognize the executive director and the leader of District Council 37, our good friend here at the council, Henry Garrido. I want to bring up my honoree. Her name is Maria Ortiz. Come on up, Maria. Come on up. And I want to just tell you a little bit about her. I'm not going to read the entire proclamation, but when we talk about the workers of New York City, when we talk about the people that actually take care of New Yorkers, Maria is a shining example of what is good in New York City, about how New Yorkers take care of one another, and that is why we are so grateful to honor her tonight. She got both her BA and her MA in forensic psychology from John Jay, so she's a product of CUNY, which we love. We love CUNY. And she got her MSW, Master in Social Work and Leadership at Fordham University, another great school here in New York City. And she has applied her deep understanding of the intersection of psychology and the justice system when we talk about closing Rikers Island and diverting people from being justice involved. She has used that intersection of those skills in a variety of roles in both her personal and professional endeavors. She has demonstrated a literally unwavering commitment to engaging, educating, and empowering others, particularly children and youth, and vulnerable children and youth in New York City. In 2006, she joined the New York City Administration for Children's Services, ACS, which we know protects the most vulnerable New Yorkers, vulnerable children in our city, as a child protective specialist. And that is a really hard job. That is a hard job to work on these cases where you're looking at children that have gone through a tremendous amount of trauma and difficulty at an early age. And she used her expertise for the next 10 years in that role, dedicating a decade of her life serving the children of New York City at ACS. And in recent years, she has used her expertise as a client care coordinator for West End residences, HDFC, and as a forensic social worker for the Legal Aid Society. We love Legal Aid because they similarly help so many people. How many Legal Aid folks are here tonight? We love Legal Aid for the work that they do. And so, besides doing that work, she is also the previous PTA president at PS 111, which is in Hell's Kitchen in my district. And we love it. Love Rock School. She serves as a delegate assembly member for the National Association of Social Workers in the New York City chapter, and since 2014, so for the last 5 years, she has been a tireless member of Manhattan Community Board 4. Before I was elected to the City Council, I spent 9.5 years of my life on Community Board 4. I was on the Education Committee and the Land Use Committee. I became chair of the Community Board, and there must be something wrong with Maria and with me, because if you spend 10 years on a community board, or 5 years on a community board, there is something wrong with you. You are a glutton for punishment. So she does all this work during the day to help vulnerable New Yorkers, Adrian as well. She was the chair of the community board. She does all this work during the day, and then at night, she has children. At night, She goes and she volunteers in the community as a PTA president, as a community board member. She is the perfect person to honor tonight during Hispanic Heritage Night at the City Council because of her invaluable contributions. So if everyone could please give a tremendous round of applause for my honoree, the amazing Maria.